Hey folks, it's another day, another unboxing, and I have a box here from AT&T for the LG G8x ThinQ, the successor to the G8. It's been an updated version of the G8. It was launched at IFA. So there's a bunch of IMEIs on the back. I'm not going to show you that. Nothing too much here. So I want to unbox this. But what's cool about this phone is it comes with an accessory. And here is the accessory. It's the LG Dual Screen accessory. Now this is coming soon to AT&T here in the US as a package for $6.99. So that's going to be pretty cool. You'll be able to buy this as one item. And so I wanted to unbox both of these for you because it's kind of an interesting setup. So here we go. Dun, 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 dun. There is the phone. So let's get to that in a minute, shall we? There's a little divider here in typical AT&T fashion. It says, don't text and drive, it can wait. Then we've got another divider here with some documentation. I'll put that up here. And a USB cable, and a SIM removal tool, and a charging adapter. So I'm taking all this out. There's nothing else in here because this flap is just not going to stay in place. So let's have a look at all this stuff. We have some kind of charger. I'm going to get it close up so we can see how many watts this is. I expect this to be a fast charger, obviously, maybe 18 watt or something like that, 15. We'll find out. USB type A to type C cable, obviously, for this charger. Now we have a SIM removal tool, and we have a little get started manual from AT&T here. Oh, it's pretty interesting. Let's get some nice pretty color pictures. Shows you the layout of the phone here and more. And yeah, it's got a whole bunch of little instruction set. Very nice. What's in the back? Yeah, just more stuff. And then we've got an LG second year promise. LG is committed to giving you peace of mind. We're so confident in the quality of our premium devices that along with the manufacturer's first year limited warranty, we offer free second year limited warranty coverage upon registration. Nice. All right. And then we've got the product safety and warranty info. So let's take a look at this phone, shall we? Let's get it out of this trap here. I believe there's an IMEI sticker on the back. So let me just peel that off down here and get rid of that. So here we go. Ooh, do you see that shimmery bluish purplish color? That's pretty cool, right? And this is the front. So let's talk about the specs. Let's turn it on really quickly. I believe this has been set up already by the PR people that gave me this from LG. But don't worry, I will do a factory reset before I start using it. They just wanted to make sure that the SIM that they provided worked, so they set it up. They did warn me about that. So the first thing you'll notice compared to the G8 immediately is this is a bigger phone. 6.4 inches versus 6.1 inch display. Teardrop notch versus a regular notch. No longer do we have a Face ID system, a 3D scanner in this phone. We now have a 32 megapixel front-facing camera that does the quad bi or binning of 4 pixels into one for an effective resolution of 8 megapixels and a better low light performance. So that's pretty exciting. They have kind of updated the front. There's a bit of a chin left, not too much though. This is an OLED panel. This is a 1080p panel, no longer a Quad HD panel, 2K panel like before. That's pretty much the big differences in the front. Under the hood, we still have a Snapdragon 855, 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage with micro SD support. But we have a bigger, much bigger 4,000 milliamp hour battery versus 3,500 on the G8. So that's a big deal because that was one of the sticking points with the G8. And then we have a slightly revised camera system in the back. Dual cameras. Main camera is a 12 megapixel and the secondary camera is an ultra wide 13 megapixel. The main camera is still the same, 1.4 micron pixels, f/1.8, whereas the secondary one is no longer 16 megapixel, that ultra wide. It's f/2.4 and 1 micron pixel. So You know, there's not a huge amount of difference here. The big deal is that we've gone from a 12 megapixel f/1.5 camera to a 12 megapixel f/1.8 camera. That seems to be a bit of a step back for LG, and I'm sure it's going to affect performance a little bit. So it's a bit of a step down in terms of imaging, display resolution, but a step up in battery life. So you've got on the left side here a volume rocker, right? 2 buttons and a Google Assistant key. This is very much the same as the G8 was. At the bottom you have a headphone jack and a USB Type-C charge data port and a speaker. This has stereo speakers, so this bottom firing speaker is complemented by a earpiece speaker up the top. On the right hand side you get a power lock key, as you can see here, and on top you get the SIM tray, which is also the micro SD card tray. And normally the story would end here. I would say, this is a cool phone from LG, you can buy it unlocked, and from AT&T, blah, blah, blah. But there's way more to the story than that, because we now have an accessory to unbox that goes with this phone. So let me move the phone out of the way, and let's unbox this case. So this is a dual screen case. They did this with the LG V50 as well. But this is kind of a better approach to what the LG V50 did. I never got to play with the LG V50 case, by the way. So we've got some instructions here in the back, dual screen. And so let's unbox this. Boom, ta-da. There's nothing in here. And we have a little protection going on. It tells you how to install the dual screen case. And so there's some serial numbers and things in the back. Let's see if I can slide this out easily. Hopefully I can. There we go. We don't need this part. Let's see if there's any stickers in the back. Yeah, there is. Let me remove this. So there you go. And that's what we have inside. So there's a little divider here to protect things with, aha, interesting, a magnetic charge adapter. So this plugs into the bottom here with a magnet, you see, and then you plug USB Type-C in there. So interesting design. It's like a MagSafe from the MacBook. Wow, it's very strong. Like, look at that. I can literally, gravity is this way, right? And look at that. I get close and it just grabs it. So interesting. So that's what this is. Then we've got a couple of manuals here. I'll get through the display in a second. User start guide. Do not care too much here. It shows you the latching. And then, of course, the precautions when separating this phone. So you have to do it the right way, because the phone actually goes into this USB Type-C port right here, as you can see. So this is a case with a display here inside, and a slightly smaller display here outside. And it's glass and plastic, kind of feels like faux leather in the back. And so let's get the phone out and stick it in there, shall we? So here we go. Here's the phone, and we just slide it like this into the USB-C port, and then we snap it into place. Boom! And it detects it, you see? Cover display tool. And so, let's see. Turn on dual screen. Ta-da! So now, I'm just going to remove this little guy. Here we are with a dual screen phone. Now, this isn't like a Galaxy Fold, like a folding display. You know, there's a big bezel between the two sides. But at the same time, you now have a lot more real estate. Notice these are identical panels, even though there isn't a camera here, there's a notch, because they decided to use these two identical 1080p displays so that they could get basically a perfect match in terms of color balance and color temperature. This is, both of them are OLED 1080p. So you close it, you've got a little OLED monochrome display in the front that shows the time with notifications. And then you got the volume rocker right here replicated, and the Google Assistant key replicated. A hole for the headphone jack at the bottom, that magnetic connector, and a hole for the speaker. So yeah, and then of course the power lock key is still on the phone right here. So let me actually walk you through the phone's specifics. So the way you remove this phone from the case is you go like this. You push out this way, and then there we go, and you pull it out. So you're gonna say, how can you use this? Well, I haven't played with it yet, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. I might give you a little review action. But I know that there's a gaming mode that lets you, put a controller, a joystick at the bottom. So let's see, LG gamepad. So there you go. So now you get a gamepad at the bottom half, and you can run, whatever game of your choice at the top half. So you can choose your gamepad right here. So there's like a traditional PlayStation's type gamepad. Then there is a driving style. Then there's an arcade style. And then there's like more simple one. And then you can create your own. You can create your own layout with the old background color and everything. So that's a kind of a cool feature. So let's go back. You can turn that off anytime by hitting the little X. And you're back to a dual display, right? So that's basically how this works. And this little shortcut key here lets you send, swap screens. So you can go like this, or you can show main on dual screen. You have all these different options. And then, put main screen to sleep. So, it's interesting. You can, by the way, do this, turn it back on. And then you can do this again. So that's it. That is the LG G8x ThinQ with the dual screen case. It's pretty interesting that they are doing it this way. That's what this is all about. And with a nice little OLED display. And if a call comes in while the case is closed, you can just push the Google Assistant button here to take the call. So yeah, I'm not sure why they have a little hole here, because there's no secondary mic on the top edge of the phone. So maybe that's for the earpiece, because as you see, the earpiece is a slit here to get the earpiece to come through, right? So now you can take calls when this is closed, because the earpiece just kind of comes through like that. So that's interesting design-wise, and that's interesting they chose to do a kind of a magnetic flat. I guess they wanted to keep this edge as shallow as possible. And then you're going to have some problems with some headphone jacks inserting stuff here if you still use real headphones. But the good news is that the back of the phone is exposed, so the camera will work without any issues. So that's it, folks. The LG G8x ThinQ with a dual screen display. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. Please like the video, tell your friends, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. Comment in the comments below. Hit that notification bell to get notified from new videos. And remember that all my content here is a complement to the Mobile Tech Podcast at mobiletechpodcast.com. Also on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, Spotify, and a bunch of other places. So you subscribe to the podcast as well, because that's where you'll see my reviews about this device and my opinions and thoughts, okay? So that's it, folks. Stay tuned for more. Cheers, everybody.